Welcome students. Today we will discuss about efficient diversification and it is about chapter 6 of your textbook. First of all, before discussing the efficient diversification, we will know how diversification is being done. Normally we try to increase more stocks in our portfolio or more assets in our portfolio to diversify the risk. Now question is the risk totally diversifiable? The answer is not. Your risk is divided into two types. One is market specific or systematic risk, which is non-diversifiable. That's why it is also known as non-diversifiable risk. The other part is the firm specific risk or unique risk, which is non-systematic and it is diversifiable. So, out of the total risk, your diversifiable risk or non-systematic risk can be diversified. The market risk or the systematic risk cannot be diversified. So, this is the base kind of principle on which we will go on discussing further and further. So, out of the total risk, you can diversify only the non-systematic, firm-specific, unique, diversifiable risk you can reduce with diversification. Whatever diversification you do, your market risk or the systematic risk remains the same. Now, if you see this figure, you can find out the right side figure is having the market risk which is remaining the same. Out of the total risk, a portion of the risk is known as market risk, which will remain the same irrespective of the diversification. Whether you do the full diversification or no diversification, your market risk is the same. Whereas, if you see the red curve, you will find with no diversification, only one stock, one asset, you will find the standard deviation is too high. Then gradually the standard deviation is reducing. Gradually the standard deviation is reducing. And you can find here the way you are increasing your number of the more number of assets in the portfolio, the more n is increased, the diversifiable risk is going down, down and down. And further you can see it is up after a limit, it is negligible. It is totally diversified. It is totally reduced because the risk is firm specific. So with proper diversification, you can reduce your diversifiable risk, but your market risk remains the same. It cannot be diversified. From here, right side figure, we have taken the extract of the diversifiable risk to the left side. Then you see diversifiable risk with no diversification, too high, the standard deviation is too high, and once you are diversifying with more and more assets, your diversifiable risk is reducing, and after a point of time, it becomes negligible. That means the diversifiable risk can be minimized with proper diversification, whereas the systematic risk or non-diversifiable risk or the market risk cannot be diversified with the kind of asset allocation or different kind of security allocation. You cannot reduce your systematic risk. Only the non-systematic, firm-specific risk can be diversified, not the market risk. Keep it in your mind. If you see this figure, what it looks like, with zero diversification, only one asset, you can find the standard deviation is close to 30, maybe 27, 28. But when the number of stocks or number of assets are increased, when proper diversification is done, you can find the standard deviation is going down and down and further down. But it is going up to 10 stocks. After 10 stocks, you will find it is remaining almost a straight line. That means what? The beginning phase, the total risk was having the non-diversifiable risk and diversifiable risk. With proper diversification, what happened? The diversifiable risk almost became zero, and after a limit, maybe after 10 or 12 stocks, you find the whole diversifiable risk is reduced. Only remains is the systematic risk, which cannot be diversified. So it remains a straight line along with 10 stock, 15 stock, 20 stock, 25 stock, 30 stock. It remains the same. Why? Because already your the diversifiable risk is already reduced with the proper diversification of 10 to 12 stocks. After that, if you are increasing number of stocks, you cannot have any benefit, because the remaining risk is only systematic risk, market risk, which cannot be reduced through diversification. So just give a second.